Do you imagine developing an entire addiction to something and not even realizing it's happening until you go into your garage and prep for summer? You realize, wow, homegirl has an addiction to coolers. It's a full-blown addiction. I want to show you my top 6 favorite unique coolers that I use every year. Let's get into it. Before we get too far ahead, I must warn you that my coolers are a little dirty from the end of the summer last year. You know how it goes. Summer's rough. By the time you pack your shit away, you're like, I don't really care what they look like as long as they don't smell on the inside. Start with this one. Now, this one's not too special. It's a Coleman, a little dude. I don't know what it is about this one. This thing kept my drinks and my snacks colder than any of the other coolers that I had. I also used it in paddleboarding before I got an official paddleboard one, which I'll show you that one here in a minute. So that one's kind of basic. This next one's also kind of basic. It's more of a pass. Let's say I'm doing my mobile bar events. I spent forever and I spent a lot of dollars trying to find like an ice bucket that I could do ice to like pour the drinks, and I could not find one. And I thought one day, why don't I just buy a cooler and I put ice in the cooler and then I can get the ice out of the cooler? It's common sense, you would think. I don't know. There was a learning curve, okay? And sometimes I was overthinking and underthinking certain things. When you open a business, it happens. All right, next on this. Oh, this one. This is what I like to call my Mac Daddy cooler. If we're going on a multiple day event, we're going riding, we're going camping. I mean, this is the dog. It holds stuff for days on end, and it is better, in my opinion, than any of the higher end. But I mean, like the high end, like when you're talking coolers and there's ones that are like ungodly expensive, this one works just as well, and it is not ungodly expensive. It's got these rubber little claw things here, so it creates this like seal thing. To be honest, the seal is what keeps it so long. If you can get your children to seal those up when they're in and out of it, this thing will last your food for days. Like rope handles right here. It's got the wheels, it's got the light. I mean, this is the like of cooler. This one may not apply to you, but if you were a paddleboarder, this is definitely going to apply to you because this is a paddleboarding specific cooler, waterproof. It's kind of like bendy and moldy, so you can put it at the end of your board. I used to use this one for paddleboarding, but the problem is if you tip over and you fall, which I never did because I'm a professional paddleboarder, but the truth be told, there's not a whole lot of options out there for paddleboard specific coolers. It came with straps so you could like strap it up under your board so it didn't go anywhere. But this is just big enough to hold what I need for a full day paddleboarding trip. It keeps everything cold. If I do happen to maybe tumble off my board, which happens rarely, but if I do, this one is definitely the cooler to have at the end of your paddleboard. I have 2 of them, one for each of our boards. I found this next cooler. I had no idea such a thing existed. It's an air conditioning cooler. Okay? It has a battery pack right there so that you can run it on a battery charger. You fill it up, and it runs exactly like an air conditioner. It cycles the ice cold water in here. So I would get like big ice blocks or whatever and put it in here with a little bit of water. And it cycles it through these pumps. And then it blows out full on air conditioning air here. So you can take this, load it up with ice waters, take it to the basketball game, take it to wherever. I mean, how cool is that? This one is the holy grail of coolers. Okay, it is a full-blown refrigerator unit cooler. This thing goes down to -8 degrees. It does run on electricity. It's not battery pack, but I have like a little mini battery pack that travels with this cooler. When you open it, there's like this little divider board so you can kind of divide your things, which also dubs as a great cutting board in a pinch. Imagine this. You're on the boat. You put popsicles in here and you have popsicles 6 hours after you've been on the water already. What? I've used them. I've tested them. If you're at all interested in them, they're all linked in my bio. You're welcome.